What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I have been wanting to address this murder of Marcellus Khalifa Williams. I knew about it when it happened and all of the firestorm that was around it, but I was not able to do anything, recorded or live. As I said to you in our last live stream, I have been consumed the last several weeks with the state of being of one of our sisters, my godson's mother. I told you that she and her 7-year-old son are homeless, and that has consumed me for the last several weeks. But I also have been deeply angered, saddened, and disappointed that many of you acted as if I never said that and went right past it, and there was no action. And I want you to imagine now, or I want you to recognize, I should say, that you, no matter what your state of affairs is now, could be just a few short sequence of events away from living under a cardboard box on the street. Where is our empathy, everybody? Where is it? Where is it? So you need to ponder that. This sister is going through hell. I am one, but I'm only one. Strength in numbers. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to come together and do something significant for this sister. So I digress to say that I was aware of this, and we're going to definitely prosecute this and examine it very closely, and I will give my thoughts on it. But I begin tonight with this because it's also a firestorm. I think I came to know that this took place because I think I saw something on the Young Turks that they had made it a focal point of their reporting and their show, and they played some clips with regard to this. This is Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's on that CBS morning show with Gayle King and Nate, the guy Nate, and there's some demons that also sit up there. And but what's important and what I want to isolate is this exchange, because Ta-Nehisi has a new book out. He's an award-winning author and a reporter. He has done some amazing work, and I also appreciate that he is a heterosexual, married to a black woman brother. You understand? And he has this new book out, and but the Zionist that's sitting up there wants to, as is their way, to try and make it all about Israel. Because remember, according to their propaganda, no one has ever suffered more than them on the earth. That's what we're supposed to believe. And so when you don't buy into their whining, then they get all worked up over it. Do you understand? So the level of propaganda and disrespect here was just worthy of commentary by the Jedi. So let us begin now with understanding what the exchange was, and I'll give my remarks as we go. And before I do that, by the way, this is this guy Nate. I don't know anything about him other than he's on this show. But I really find him to be an impressive brother. He also has a black queen. Thank you very much. They really could have just done the show with just him and Gail King, quite frankly. You know, whatever. That's something else. But let's hear this exchange now, and let me help you understand why I'm here to talk about this.
Ta-Nehisi, I want to dive into the Israel-Palestine section of the book. It's the largest section of the book. And I have to say, when I read the book, I imagine if I took your name out of it, took
But his name is in it.
away the awards and
He does have the awards,
acclaim, took the cover
and he does have the acclaim,
off the book, the publisher,
and the cover is on the book, and the publishing house is there. You see, hear this now. Shut up, Jedi. Shut up.
took the cover off the book, the publishing house goes away. The content of that section would not be out of place in the backpack of an extremist.
Now, what he just said there is, sadly, you are this award-winning guy, this award-winning author. You are smart and serious, and you do have a publishing company that published this for you, and blah, blah, blah. So you're not the tinfoil hat type. You're not the type that I can turn into a tinfoil hat type and say you're some extremist and you're anti-Semitic and just discount you. Damn it, I can't do it. Urgh. So you have legitimacy. Urgh, I hate it. You see, that's what that translates into, everybody. I just did the translation for you. This is one of the many reasons why the Jedi speaks. When the Jedi speaks, you learn. So that's what he just said there. But let's go on. He said, if it wasn't for all this legitimacy you have, then I could just say that this book was in the backpack of an extremist. Go.
And so then I found myself wondering, why does Ta-Nehisi Coates, who I've known for a long time, read his work for a long time, very talented, smart guy, leave out so much? Why leave out that Israel is surrounded by countries that want to eliminate it? Why leave out that Israel deals with terror groups that want to eliminate it? Why not?
In other words, why did you leave out our whining narrative of our victimhood that we so desperately want to propagate? Why did you leave that out? That's the translation there. That's the translation. Go on.
Why leave out that Israel deals with terror groups that want to eliminate it? Why not?
Because he's not going to ask, why leave out that Israel has nuclear weapons, they're totally a nuclear power? Why leave out that they are the ones aggressing on their Arab neighbors in the region? Why leave out that they've been occupying the people of Gaza and the West Bank for damn near a century? Why leave out that they're not really an arm of Judaism, because Judaism totally rejects this whole thing under Judaic law. It's against Judaic law for Jews to have a state and a flag and all this other stuff. Why leave that? He's not going to ask that. Why leave out our propaganda of our suffering, this victimhood nonsense? You didn't mention that part.
Want to eliminate it? Why leave out that Israel deals with terror groups that want to eliminate it? Why not detail anything of the first and the second intifada, the cafe bombings, the bus bombings, the little kids blown to bits? And is it...
By the way, all that stuff that he just named is not current events. That is ancient history, everybody. It's not a current event. And when those things happened, they were a response to what? White evil. They were a response to the aggression and oppression and the violence perpetrated by Israel. You see? And indeed, every resistance movement that's ever existed anywhere on the earth has been a response to white evil. I can prove that claim. And you can prove it to yourself. You see? But dealing locally, there'd be no need for Dr. King to ever existed. No need for Malcolm X. No need for Medgar Evers. No need for Fannie Lou Hamer. No need for the Nation of Islam. No, excuse me. No need for the Black Panther. No need for the Deacons of Defense. No need for Nat Turner. No need. I could just go on. All of this is response to white evil. All of it. So now you get to Hamas. Hamas is a response to white evil. Do you see? Palestinians had a government that is seduced by white whispering, white evil, and fear. And the Palestinian people were like, you're in bed with these people. We can't, we're still suffering. So they elected, elected Hamas in 2006. Elected them. Do you understand? So they were and are for the Palestinians what everybody that I just named for black people, Hamas is that for them. The ones that will step out of the shadows and stand up for the people, stand against white evil and say, not right here. And they're willing to use any means necessary, to quote Malcolm. Any. But white evil wants to dictate that they oppress you, murder you, and put you in a state of suffering, and you're not supposed to have any resistance to that. They are the ones that are sick. They are the ones that are sick. Let us go on. So you didn't put in all of our vomit and suffering.
The little kids blown to bits. And is it because you just don't believe that Israel, in any condition, has a right to exist?
Nothing about what even he laid out reflects that Ta-Nehisi thinks that Israel doesn't have the right to exist. And we're tired of that vomit phraseology as well. We're sick and tired of it. Because the fact is, they do exist. Meanwhile, you've made it so the Palestinians don't exist. Neither does their state or their land. And many of their family and neighbors don't exist. They want sympathy over a damn hypothetical. They'll get nothing. Certainly not from the Jedi.
Well, I would say the perspective that you just outlined, there is no shortage of that perspective in American media.
What Ta-Nehisi just said there is all the mainstream media, which is controlled by the Zionists, all carry that tagline. You see, he said there's no shortage of that perspective in mainstream media. No shortage. Go on, Ta-Nehisi.
That's the first thing I would say. I am most concerned always with those who don't have a voice, with those who don't have the ability to talk. I have asked repeatedly in my interviews whether there is a single network, mainstream organization in America with a Palestinian American bureau chief or correspondent.
Is there a Palestinian voice? Is there a Palestinian correspondent or bureau chief anywhere in mainstream media? He said, I've asked. You see, in other words, y'all can get your vomit and propaganda out there, but there's no voice for the Palestinian. None. And that's on purpose. Because when people know the whole truth, everything changes. Even since this latest incarnation of their evil, this latest now, where they've killed, murdered over 41,000 innocent people. I just lost my train of thought as I'm saying it. Wow. All knowledge is with Allah. Inshallah, it will come back to me. I'll just say something else. Wow. But this is a perfect example of what I tell you all the time, everybody. You don't know anything in life unless Allah allows you to know it. Not even your name. You don't know anything. All knowledge resides with the one who creates. That's it. Don't ever think you're so brilliant and smart and you just have it all. You don't. Anything that you know, including your name, you only know it because Allah allows you to know it. And this is a perfect example of that. I'm stuck now. Got no idea what I was about to say. until Allah allows me to know it. So I'll just go with something else. Well, let's just take it back and hear his answer again and go on, and maybe that will Allah will give it back to me.
Organization in America with a Palestinian American bureau chief or correspondent who actually has a voice to articulate their part of the world. I've been a reporter for 20 years. The reporters of those who believe more sympathetically about Israel and its right to exist don't have a problem getting their voice out. But what I saw in Palestine, what I saw on the West Bank, what I saw in Haifa in Israel, what I saw in the South Hebron Hills, those were the stories that I have not heard. And those were the stories that I was most occupied with. I wrote a 260-page book. It is not a treatise on the entirety of the conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis.
But if you were to read this book, you would be left wondering, why does any of Israel exist? What a horrific place, committing horrific acts on a...
Oh, Allahu Akbar. Because when the whole story is, all knowledge is with Allah. Because when this whole story is known, people change. You understand? I always tell you, knowledge equals action. So what we've seen in the latest incarnation with the 41,000 people murdered off, and now with the advent of social media and the internet, people can see and know for themselves what the whole story is. And so no more do you have this just blindly supporting Israel and shit. Those days are over, homie. Over. Put the flowers on the grave. It's over. Because what? Knowledge equals action. When you know better, you act differently. You see? So they have been put in a position now where they can't win the propaganda war. Their propaganda doesn't work anymore on the masses. That's why you have many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people all across the world protesting this racist gangster murderers. Because now they know the other side. They got a full perspective. And we're understanding that it's exactly the opposite. They're not the victims. They are the perpetrators. They are the perpetrators. Let us go on. We'll take it back for context and we'll go on.
You would be left wondering, why does any of Israel exist? What a horrific place, committing horrific acts on a daily basis. So I think the question is central
Which is exactly
and
what they
key.
do.
If Israel has a right to exist, and if your answer is no, then I guess the question becomes...
He's just putting a hypothetical out. That doesn't represent Ta-Nehisi's position at all. He just wants to bring in this, does Israel have the right to exist? You should have asked that before you set up the fucking illegal place. Before you went in and murdered off 750,000 people and displaced them at the beginning of this heist. And know this, for many, many decades, real Orthodox Jews, the real ones, lived in peace, harmony, and tranquility with the Palestinians. There was no problems. None at all. I've told you over the years, the Muslim calls the Jew our cousin, and they call us their cousin because our faiths are so close. Many of our traditions are exactly the same. All of that. No problems at all. But the Zionists now, who are a false flag, it's like I tell you, I put on a wig and some makeup and go, I'm Michael Jackson. I go out robbing banks and stores. That's not Michael. This is some idiot in a wig and makeup. It's not Michael. This is that. They want to cloak themselves under the title to make you think that they are they're amongst the Orthodox and the people who practice the way of life known as Judaism, which is a way of life. Just like the Muslim, we don't have religion. We have a way of life. That's the same with the Orthodox Jew and Orthodox Judaism. It's their way of life. It dictates everything that they do in life. All of it. So they put on this cloak, and they are the ones who marched in with all the violence and murder, and they're the ones now who are keeping the Palestinians in open air prisons and stealing land and murdering them off every day and all of it. This is not Judaism. I need you to be very clear about that. Very clear. Clear. Just like any of these so-called terrorists that they've offered up to us over the years, and they say Islamic terrorist. No such thing. It's an oxymoron. It's like big tiny or jumbo shrimp. You can't have it. There's no Islamic terrorist. You understand that in no way has anything to do with Islam. Period. And conversely, I would just add before we go on that when they bombed Nagasaki and Hiroshima, nobody said that's Christian terrorism. When we see the mass shootings in schools by these white little demons, they never call that Christian terrorism. We don't hear anything mentioned about faith and religion. We just don't hear it. Just don't hear it. And even in this conflict, we never hear them refer to them as Jewish extremists. That's a term you've never heard. Well, I'm introducing it. You see. But keep in mind, as I said again, this has nothing to do with Judaism at all. At all. And go and speak to Orthodox Jews who are serious about their way of life and their submission to God, and they will tell you the Jedi has spoken the truth. They will tell you. They will tell you. Let us go on.
And key, if Israel has a right to exist, and if your answer is no, then I guess the question becomes, why do the Palestinians have a right to exist? Why do 20 different Muslim countries have a right to exist?
My answer is that no country...
You see, that's what he really wants to say, that the Palestinians don't have a right to exist. But let us go further. Because this is right up there with when white people say, why do you get to use the N-word and I can't? Well, you flip that. Because the question is, why do you want to use the N-word, white demon? Huh? Why do you want to use it? Before we can get to whether you can use it or not, why do you want to use it? That's the question. So this is the same question here. Why do you want to exist on this illegal heisted piece of land that was taken by violence? Why? And continues to maintain it by violence and oppression of a people. Why do you want to? You see, they always try and change the narrative. When I used to cover police stories, what did I tell you? One of the things I showed you about white modus operandi, how they do things, is they always tell you what the parameters of the discussion are going to be. I cite for you just a couple of examples. Remember, in the case of Trayvon Martin, they didn't want to deal with the fact that Zimmerman got his fat ass out of the truck and stalked Trayvon at night in the rain with a gun. No, it's going to come down to who we hear screaming for help on the tape. Huh? I cite for you Mike Brown. Everybody was saying he had his hands up. Every witness said that. But what did the demons say? It's going to come down to what the altercation was at the police truck. It's going to come down to that. So again, this is always them shifting the narrative. Shifting and moving. Shifting and moving. Shifting and moving. Let's go on.
Palestinians have a right to exist. Why do 20 different Muslim countries have a right to exist?
My answer is that no country in this world establishes its ability to exist through rights. Countries establish their ability to exist through force, as America did. And so I think this question of right to Israel does exist. It's a fact.
Right.
The question of its right is not a question that I would be faced with any other country.
But you write a book that...
I love that. It's not a question I would be faced with any other country. You see? And I love that he said it does exist. In other words, he's echoing what I'm saying. Like, I'm sick and tired of that vomit. They want to give you... Well, they're saying they don't want Israel to exist, but they do exist. So that's a non-issue. Meanwhile, you have declared and are making it so that Palestine doesn't exist and the Palestinians don't exist. It's not a hypothetical for them. They got real blood and real death and dying. Huh? Ugh, they make me sick, dude. Sick. Go on.
Fact. The question of its right is not a question that I would be faced with any other country.
But you write a book that delegitimizes the pillars of Israel. It seems like an effort to topple the whole building of it. So I come back to the question, and it's what I struggled with throughout this book. What is it that so particularly offends you about the existence of a Jew?
Offends him? We're not offended. You're assigning way too much importance to yourself. You're not all that. You're not. This is right up there when somebody says, why are you jealous because you see me in my new outfit in my car? Bitch, you're not that important. I didn't even see you. And now that I am seeing you, my eyes are bleeding. So this means nothing to me. You're assigning way too much importance to yourself. I didn't even notice you at all. This is that, everybody. This is that. What so offends you about,
Delegitimizes the pillars of Israel. It seems like an effort to topple the whole building of it. So I come back to the question, and it's what I struggled with throughout this book. What is it that so particularly offends you about the existence of a Jew?
What so offends you about him writing the truth about your white ass? That's the question. What offends you that he is even citing this? Because he's not offended. You see how they tell on themselves? They're the definition of hypocrisy and forked-tonguedness. The definition. Go on.
Of it. So I come back to the question, and it's what I struggled with
You
throughout
didn't
this
struggle
book.
with anything.
What is it that so particularly offends you about the existence of a Jewish state that is a Jewish safe place and not any of the other states out there?
There's nothing that offends me about a Jewish state. I am offended by the idea of states built on ethnocracy, no matter where they are.
Muslim included.
I would not want a state where any group of people laid down their citizenship rights based on ethnicity. The country of Israel is a state in which half the population exists on one tier of citizenship, and everybody else that's ruled by Israelis exists on another tier, including Palestinian Israeli citizens. The only people that exist on that first tier are Israeli Jews. Why?
I got to stop it to say this. White people are the only one that has ever done this, whether it's Israel, an entire country, or whether it was apartheid in South Africa, or whether it was segregation here in America. You understand? They're the only population of things that have come to Earth and said, we're going to be over here and you have to be over there. No one else has done that, sadly. No one else has done that. No one else, sadly, has excluded their ass. No one. But they're the first. Even as I speak to you now, there is a town in South Africa that is whites only. Huh? Huh? Are you hearing me? This is a characteristic and an articulation of only white people, everybody. No one else has done it. No one else has done it. And when you even mention it, we've had people like Sister Soldier, and there's been some others throughout history that have said, even Muhammad Ali said, they should just give us our land and portion our part of the United States and just let us have our own thing. Just leave us be, leave us alone. And they get real worked up over that. Because nobody, when you say you don't want to be near their violent, genocidal, racist asses, when you've got good reason to exclude them, good reason, all their history shows, exclude them. But no one else has. They are the ones. So now he's asking, so we'll just go back. So this is the context in which I just said that. Go on.
Muslim included.
I would not want a state where any group of people laid down their citizenship rights based on ethnicity. The country of Israel is a state in which half the population exists on one tier of citizenship, and everybody else that's ruled by Israelis exists on another tier, including Palestinian Israeli citizens. The only people that exist on that first tier are Israeli Jews.
White.
Why do we support that? Why is that okay? I'm the child of Jim Crow. I'm the child of...
You notice the Zionist doesn't have an answer for that. Ta-Nehisi asks, kind of rhetorically, but not so much, when he says, why is that okay? Why do we support that? Why is that okay? Why? Why? And you see, he had no answer for that. No answer.
Are Israeli Jews. Why do we support that? Why is that okay? I'm the child of Jim Crow.
Boom.
I'm the child of people that were born into a country where that was exactly the case of American apartheid. I walk over there and I...
White apartheid. We have to add the word white, everybody, because if we don't, then the younger generation and those who may be from other nations and people who just aren't educated just think it's just something that just happened. But we don't know who the perpetrators are. We just, well, it was just apartheid in America. No, it was white apartheid. White, W-H-I-T-E, white. We must emphasize that. We must. So for those who will say, well, race doesn't matter, damn it, it does matter, because it's an identifier. It's an identifier. Somebody robs a bank. FBI shows up. What do they say? Did you get a look at the suspect? What were they wearing? Were they black, white, Latino? What were they? Because that's the identifier. They don't just go out and say, pick the first person they see that walks past the bank and go, you, get over here. You're under arrest for bank robbery. Take them down. No. The identifier is he was wearing a red hoodie. He had a mask on, but he had white skin. And he had on some torn jeans and some blue shoes. Those are identifiers. So when we say American apartheid, we say white. Because Latinos weren't exercising apartheid upon African people. The Asians weren't exacting apartheid upon African people. And the signs on the doors and the entrances and the water fountains and so forth didn't say whites. It didn't say apartheid and blacks or apartheid and colored. Didn't say Japanese and colored. Didn't say Latino and colored. Didn't say Eskimos and colored. It said white and colored, bitch. Hear me. Hear me. So we must understand the identifier, and we must cite it at all cost. At all cost. Let's go on.
Why is that okay? I'm the child of Jim Crow. I'm the child of people that were born into a country where that was exactly the case of American apartheid.
White apartheid.
I walk over there and I walk through the occupied territories and I walk down the street in Hebron. And a guy says to me, I can't walk down the street unless I profess my religion. I'm with another path. No. I want to. This is very, very important.
It is important. It is
extremely important.
Yeah, let me lay it down.
I'm working with the person that is guiding me is a Palestinian whose fault.
See, it got too hot. Gail was going to try and cut it off. See, because she's a scared to death ass Negro. You see, she tried to cut it off, but it didn't work.
I want to. This is very, very important.
It is important. It is
extremely important.
Yeah, let me lay it down.
I'm working with the person that is guiding me is a Palestinian whose father, whose grandfather and grandmother was born in this town.
Know this, everybody, an interjection here. Know this, there are black Palestinians. Know that. So everybody over there is not beige. That's important for you to know. And many of you probably never considered it or thought about it. But that's why the Jedi speaks. Let's go on.
Father and grandmother was born in this town. And I have more freedom to walk than he does. He can't ride on certain roads. He can't get water in the same way that Israeli citizens who live less than a mile away from him can.
And why is that okay?
Why
is that? Why is there no agency in this book for the Palestinians? They exist in your narrative merely as victims of the Israelis.
They are. They are. And when they do exercise agency, to use his word, it comes in the form of Hamas, and you call them terrorists. Instead of they are a resistance group fighting white evil. He never answers Ta-Nehisi's question. Why is this okay? Why do we support this? And then he just goes to, why is there no agency in your book? Why are they only presented as victims? Because they are the victims. They didn't build a wall to separate themselves from Israel. Israel built the wall to separate them from Israel. And it's the most surveilled place on planet Earth. Cameras everywhere. You can't even take a leak without being filmed. They have some of the highest sophisticated monitoring technology known to humanity, surveilling the Palestinians in Gaza. You understand what I'm telling you? We have to know the truth, everybody. We have to know the truth. And for me, I don't got nothing else to proclaim on the earth, on any topic, on any matter at all. The only thing that matters to me is the truth. That's it. I'm not interested in anything else at all. If it's not the truth, don't bring it over here, because I will shut you down. I hear that exchange again now.
Same way that Israeli citizens who live less than a mile away from him can.
And why is that?
okay?
Because why is that? Why is that?
Why is there no agency in this book for the Palestinians?
There is agency. It's called Hamas.
They exist in your narrative merely as victims of the Israelis, as though they were not offered peace at any juncture, as though
They weren't offered. Listen, everybody listening to me. I'm gonna multiply myself. I have the magic powers. I can do that. Don't ask me questions. I can do it. Settle down. Now, I'm gonna multiply myself into several hundred of me. All right. And so I'm moving into your house tomorrow. I'm moving in. All right. I'm taking your bedroom, your master suite. I'm taking it. I'm doing it. I'm taking your car. All right. I will take over your bank accounts. All right. And you should be lucky when I offer you to sleep in a corner of the garage. And for decades, when you fight against me, I will say, well, I don't know why they're acting like I never offered them a corner in the garage. I don't understand why they don't, I gave them a chance to have a part of their house. Huh? I allowed them to take $5 a month out of their own bank account. Look at me. I'm amazing. Look how benevolent I am and kind, and clearly a seeker of fairness and peace and righteousness. I'm the picture of it. It's them. They're the bad people because you didn't take the corner of your own damn garage that I offered you. You guys are so ungrateful, dude. You're so ungrateful. Ugh. Damn, I gave you a corner of the garage. I'm allowing you to take $5 a month out of your damn bank account. What else do you want from me? Ugh. It's just the level of ungratefulness is just startling to me, and I can't go on.
Less than a mile away from him can.
And why
is that okay?
Why is that? Why is there no agency in this book for the Palestinians? They exist in your narrative merely as victims of the Israelis, as though they were not offered peace at any juncture, as though they don't have a stake in this as well. What is their role in the lack of a Palestinian?
I have a very, 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 very moral.
What is their role? Go back to the hypothetical so you understand it, everybody. What is your role? Aren't you supposed to accept my damn corner of the garage I allowed you to have in your own damn house where you pay the mortgage? What's your role? I've done my part. I allowed you a corner of the garage, just a corner. I allowed you a corner of the garage. I've allowed you to ride in the trunk of the car when I make rounds and I have to go on errands. I let you ride in the trunk of the car. I've given you the ability to get $5 a month out of your own damn bank account. I've done my part. What is your part in this? What is your role in all of this? What are you supposed to do instead of playing the victim all the time? Ugh, you damn victims. You just make me sick. I can't go on.
Victims of the Israelis, as though they were not offered peace at any juncture, as though they don't have a stake in this as well. What is their role in the lack of a
I have a
Palestinian
very, 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 very moral compass about this. And again, perhaps it's because of my ancestry.
I love that. That was a soft shade. He goes, I have a very, very, very strong moral compass on this. In other words, I have a sense of morality, and you don't, you fork-tongued Zionist. I have morality. That's where I sit, you see. So that was low-key shade being thrown there. Beautiful, wonderfully executed by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Let's go on.
in the lack of a
I
Palestinian
have a very, 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 very moral compass about this. And again, perhaps it's because of my ancestry. Either apartheid is right or it's wrong. It's really, really simple. Either what I saw was right or it's wrong. I am, for instance, against the death penalty. What the person did to get the death penalty, it really doesn't matter to me. I don't care if they were selling a nickel bag of marijuana or if they were a serial killer. I am against the death penalty. I am against a state that discriminates against people on the basis of ethnicity. I'm against that. There is nothing the Palestinians could do that would make that okay for me. My book is not based on the hypermorality
What's the last
of the
message you
Palestinian
want
people.
in lessons?
Boom.
Because
My
many
book is not based on the hypermorality of the Palestinian people. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And then I don't think we need Gail's part. Well, let's see, because I don't know.
Hypermorality
What's the last
of the
message you
Palestinian
want
people.
in lessons?
Oh, okay. That's just a wrap up. And he said, read my book. All right. So again, you see here what we have, everybody. And again, there's a twin sister to the Marcellus Khalifa Williams, because this is, again, is white evil. They don't have morality. They don't care about morality. They don't. All of their history proves that statement on its own. You don't need me. You don't even need me. You don't. They want to be able to pillage, murder, and oppress their way through existence, and nobody is supposed to have a problem with it. And then they have the audacity to claim that they are the victims while they're the ones holding the bloody knife. Just to give you a mental visual. Police show up to a scene. You got a body laying on the ground. You got a guy standing there with a knife, a bloody knife. They never question who's the victim. They may get to that later on. But in that moment, they see that, they go to put him in cuffs. Put him in cuffs. Because that person's dead and you're holding a bloody knife. We supposed to just believe that you were the victim? I'm the one who's the victim, really? Because I don't see any stab wounds on you. Just not binding it. All right, lift up your shirt, because maybe, no, still nothing. All right, nothing there. All right, we just don't have it. We just don't have it. It's outrageous, everybody. But the point of this was to try to make him out to be an anti-Semite, because anytime you tell the truth about this illegal heist, then they start the name calling. They never want to deal with the issue, and they definitely don't want it to be centered around the truth. Nope. Can't have that. It's like you have a boxer who is maybe, I don't know, he's had 20 fights. He's maybe, lost 6 of them or something. He doesn't want to talk about those. Nope. Nope. But that's part of the record. No. You only talk about my wins. Those losses never happened. How dare you say I ever lost? How dare you? This is them. This is how they're sick. This is how sick their character is. Do you understand? It's beyond outrageous. It's something else. This is a an example of that as well, everybody. This was one of the other ones that I saw that was covering this and reacting to it. This is the Karen Hunter show. I feel like I've seen her a couple times. Somehow I've clicked on her somewhere in the past. She wasn't unfamiliar to me, but I never saw her up there with somebody else, and he's claiming some type of Jew. It's one of the things that I challenged them on because I want you to hear now uh, from this dude the framing, the denial. Early on in the piece, he talks about this is his explanation for how Palestine or how Israel came to be. And he's trying to justify it on a legal argument. I will let you hear him and then I'll read you what I wrote in their comment section. I think this should be it here. Well, we'll just start there and just see if that does it for us. Hear this
every
now.
Republican? No. This is what's so absurd about it. There's a concept in the law called adverse possession. It means you could take someone
There. We might need to do pickups into that. I don't think I really need it because I just want to address this adverse
else's property by just
adverse
staying.
possession. Hold on.
Oh, this is what's so
Wait now.
response always to them is, what does that have to do with anything? It actually doesn't matter.
Wait, we're
because
going to go back a little further because we need full
I
context.
don't think Tony had an answer for that. But hold on, let's go back. Go ahead, Cena. I'm sorry, because this interview got me hyped.
Is why I have people that ask me if I'm a Zionist or an anti-Zionist, and
he says, I have people that ask me if I'm, actually, this is not the part. But that's fine because this was going to be the next part that I was going to address. I thought the other one was before this. That's fine. So we'll hear this, and then I'll show you what my response was to that, and then we'll hear the one that I thought was the first one. So let's take it back a little skosh.
I don't think Tony had an answer for that. But hold on, let's go back. Go ahead, Cena. I'm sorry, because this interview got me hyped.
This is why I have people that ask me if I'm a Zionist or an anti-Zionist, and
now he says he has people that ask him if he's a Zionist or an anti-Zionist. This is Sina Ghaznavi. All right, go on.
And my response always to them is, what does that have to do with anything?
What does that have to do with anything is his response. Go on.
Anything. It actually doesn't matter because
he says it doesn't matter.
Republican or anti-Republican? I'm not a Republican. Do I want to murder every Republican? No.
Now, stop there, and I'll read you what my response was to that. I even cited the timestamp for them. Let's see this now. Here's my comment that I left for him. I says, I disagree at timestamp 846. I said, it does matter. And you see, I capitalized that. It does matter if you are a Zionist or an anti-Zionist. Because Zionists are not Jews. They are a racist ideology. They are evil, satanic terrorists. Jews, on the other hand, are the exact opposite of that. Jews lived in peace with the Palestinians for many, many decades. They are against the slaughter of innocent people, and they are against the illegal state of Israel. It is not only illegal, it is not only legally illegal, but in accordance with Judaic law, it is illegal. Judaic law says that the Jews are not supposed to establish a state of any kind anywhere. Go and speak with other Orthodox Jews, and they will tell you that what I have said is the truth. But Zionists came with their violence and their evil and murder and genocide. So yes, it does matter if you are a Zionist or an anti-Zionist. And the fact that you say it doesn't matter leads me to conclude that you are a Zionist. Or perhaps you don't know a damn thing about Judaism or Zionism and are just flapping your gums and using your Jewish identity in quotations for privilege and special attention. I would like to know because, as I said, it does matter. All right? So they can simmer on that. Now, let us go back to his other point.
This is what's so absurd about it. There's a concept in the law called adverse possession. It means
adverse possession. He says there's a concept in the law. Go on.
This is what's so absurd about it. There's a concept in the law called adverse possession. It means you could take someone else's property by just staying there, making it a place that you protect and don't let them back in. And if you do it for a certain amount of time, in the law, it's yours. You could do that.
In the law, it becomes yours. Adverse possession, everybody. Write it down. You can go. I just come and sit in your car. I'm going to sit there for a month and a half, and poof, it's mine. I just got a new Tesla. I did it. Well, there, I did it. You saw it. I did it. I did it. There, I did it. That new house you're struggling to pay the mortgage on. I'll just go and stay a year. Look, well, look, it's mine. Look, well, look, it's mine. Look, I did it. I did it. You saw, I did it. You saw me do it. I did it. There, it's mine. I now have a brand new house. I have it. I have it. I have it. Huh? This according to him. We'll just hear it again. We'll just hear it again.
Making it a place that you protect.
Just a second.
There's a concept in the law called adverse possession. It means you could take someone else's property by just staying there, making it a place that you protect and don't let them back in. And if you do it for a certain amount of time, in the law, it's yours. You could do that.
She's grinning. That concerns me, but I'm not here to strike on her right now. I'm not here to do it.
In the law, it's yours. You could do that, right? This is exactly how countries are made. They went there, they wrote letters to each other, the Zionist movement in the early 1900s. They wrote letters to each other from Europe and into Palestine there, and they said to each other, the local Arabs here, the Palestinian Arabs, are not going to appreciate us coming in and establishing ourselves as an Israel as a Jewish state. And they did it anyways, and they had to fight for that right. They had to fight for that ability to just say, this is ours now. And
see? And in their sick mind, that's okay. You see what I'm saying? And then you see how the tone and the investment that he's making, and they had to fight for that right, like they were doing something heroic. If they went in and took somebody else's land, they stayed there so they could have this what was it called? Something possession. They had to fight. We should celebrate them and bring them a birthday cake. You see? Just hear it again because then I want you to see what my response.
There's a concept in the law called adverse possession. It means you could take someone else's property by just staying there, making it a place that you protect and don't let them back in. And if you do it for a certain amount of time, in the law, it's yours. You could do that.
Don't let them back in.
This is exactly how countries are made. They went there, they wrote letters to each other, the Zionist movement in the early 1900s. They wrote letters to each
the Zionist movement, everybody, not the Jews. Again, we make that distinction. By his own testimony there, he even made sure he cited it correctly. The Zionist movement. The Zionist movement. You see, because Judaism is not a movement. It is a way of life. And as they see it, ordained by God. With a book, a prophet, and everything else. It's not a movement with flyers and shit. You understand what I'm telling you?
There's a concept in the law called adverse possession. It means you could take someone else's property by just staying there, making it a place that you protect and you don't let them back in. And if you do it for a certain amount of time, in the law, it's yours. You could do that, right? This is exactly how countries are made. They went there, they wrote letters to each other, the Zionist movement in the early 1900s. They wrote letters to each other from Europe and into Palestine there, and they said to each other, the local Arabs here, the Palestinian Arabs, are not going to appreciate us coming in and establishing ourselves as an Israel as a Jewish state. And they did it anyways, and they had to fight for that right. They had to
That
fight
right.
for that ability to just say, this is ours now. And so to say that you're against Zionism or it doesn't, or it should exist or not, they fought for it. It's still a fight that is ongoing. That's the big difference here.
They fought for it, so that makes it right. You see? That's supposed to make it right because they fought, everybody. And first, let me read you what my response was to that vomit. I said, at 9:03, adverse possession, in quotation marks, as you call it, is nothing but a fancy term for theft. I go on. I said, ironically, if these evil-ass white Zionists, again, we have to emphasize the white, everybody, if these evil-ass white Zionists had gone and asked the Palestinians for land to establish their own state, they would have given it to them willingly, in kindness, and would have had no problem with it. And let me stop my own self there to say, and I totally believe that, everybody. Because first of all, as Muslims, we know you don't own the earth. You don't own the earth. And remember, most everybody else outside of white people has a moral compass. Certainly, anybody outside of these so-called Zionist people has a moral compass and a healthy fear of the Creator and an understanding of upholding righteousness. But I also add that Muslims understand that we don't own the earth. Do you understand? We don't even carry life insurance policies because we don't own our life. Allah is the one that owns your life. He owns you. He is the owner of existence. Muslims do not even get tattoos and piercings. Why? Because you don't own this body. We're supposed to go back to Allah the way that He sent us here. Inna lillah wa inna alayhi raja'un. We belong to Allah, and it is to Him that we return. Every Muslim proclaims this. Inna lillah wa inna alayhi raja'un. So they would have, if they had marched in and said, we are an oppressed people who start shit all over the earth. Okay, they didn't have to say that part. That's fine. All right, I'm being told in my ear by my editor that they don't need to say that part. All right, shut up. Don't say anymore. All right. Back to what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. Now, if they'd gone in and said, listen, we don't have a place, and this is who we are, could we sit down and talk about us having, this much land here? They would have done it. Why? Because I already cited for you, but they didn't know they were Zionists. You see? But they also would have done it because, as I cited for you already, real Orthodox Jews had lived with them for decades upon decades in peace, harmony, and tranquility. No issues. Gave them position, high position in the society and everything. Treated them no different than they would treat their own brother or their own family. It was a beautiful thing. I brought you the rabbi who carries all his receipts around with him all the time. And among them is this book that he carries with pictures. And he shows older pictures from the era of the harmony between the Orthodox Jews and the Muslims at that time. No problems. So if they had just cloaked themselves like the wolves in sheep's clothing that they are, and says, listen, we need land. We're being oppressed. They would have given them the land. That would have been the end of it. Just like when they brought their white ass here, they could have said, listen, we come from Europe and wherever else, and we need land, we need a place. They would have had it. But what they do, they murdered off the natives with their genocide and their disease and all of it. They can't go anywhere in peace. They just can't. But I'm getting too far off. Let me go back to what my statement was. I said they would have given it to them willingly in kindness, and would have had no problem with it. Instead, they did what white people always do and have done for all of their recorded history, and that is they went in with murder, genocide, hate and racism, and evil intent. They are the ones that bring and brought racism and hatred. Additionally, they did not and do not want the Palestinians to exist at all. They are the problem, and they are the reason for the decades-long violence and conflict in that country. Wherever white people go, there is suffering for the people that are there. All of their history shows this pattern of behavior. The history of America is white people came here with violence, evil, racism, and hatred. They exacted genocide on the natives and stole their land. In Africa, white people carved up the continent for themselves and murdered untold millions and millions of black Africans. They stole the land and continue to steal the valuable resources to this day and keep the people there in poverty. Australia, white people murdered off the native Aborigines and stole their land. I could go on and on and on. The fact is, white Zionists marched into Palestine, and from the early 1900s till today, they have been murdering off the original people there and stealing their land. You see, all I've spoken there is the truth, provable truth. We're not concerned, nor will we be concerned about feelings and emotions. That means nothing. You need to fall in line and acknowledge the truth. And that will spare your feelings and emotions. We're not here for that. We give no damns about that at all. At all. So, what this dude has to say is a bunch of vomit. But as I said in my comment, he probably has no knowledge or understanding of Judaism or Zionism. You see, he probably just pulls out his Jew card when it's convenient. Do you understand? I mean, there's no question that's one of those has to be true. One of those. And if it's not, then the alternative is not to his favor. Because if it's not either one of those, if you're not ignorant to Judaism or Zionism, then you're just flat out evil, as I suspect any damn way. But the Orthodox Jew will tell you, oh, yes, it matters. Because we're not into that Zionism stuff. We're not into that. I brought you a video. It's in one of my pieces here on the channel. I brought you a piece years ago. There's a huge thousands of... I gotta go pray. Um, don't wait. All right. Let me say this thought, and then I'm going to stop it and go pray. There were thousands of them. This was back in, I think this was back when Obama was president. But they convened on Washington, D.C. It was a huge rally, everybody. It was huge. And it was nothing but Orthodox Jews. And I should probably also point out Orthodox Jewish men, because as I tell you this now, it occurs to me I didn't see any women. So, for whatever the number was that was out there, add women to that, because, obviously they would have spouses and children and so forth. But to make my point, just to say that there they were. And the whole reason for this rally was to denounce Israel, the state of Israel, and Zionism and their flag and all of it. And yet rabbi after rabbi getting up on the mic to condemn Zionism and the state of Israel. That they had been hijacked was their language. They had been hijacked by this Zionist movement. As I said to you, Judaism is not a movement. You understand? So, but they were hijacked now. So they distanced themselves. They don't want anything to do with this. This was that rally. Massive anti-Israel protests by thousands of anti-Zionist Jews in front of the White House. Huh? Let's hear some of this. Thousands of them, you see? Massive rally in front of the White House. All these people came there to say, not right here, not in our name. Won't have shit to do with this Zionist nonsense. We are Orthodox Jews. Hear this now. And by the way, my experience, just speaking about me, the Jedi, me, these are some of the nicest people you would ever meet. I have to give that over. Do you understand? The truth is just what it is. My experience with them has been that they are the nicest people you would ever meet. They're very pious and sincere. I've often shared the story even when I was still running my retail store, and I had seen some really fantastic women's shoes that I thought would be great for my store, and I had spoken to them on the phone, and they gave me a price, and I thought, okay. Well, when I showed up, I was in full regalia, as I usually am. Like, I had on my jalabia that goes all the way to the floor, my white garment jalabia that goes all the way to the floor, one of my scarves, my kufi, all of that. I walk in, I forget the gentleman's name, and this little, this short, kind of stout, little Jewish man comes out and greets me. How can I help you? I said, yes, I called you on the phone. I told him my business name. I'm Abdullah. And then the other Jewish man came out, and they both go, you're Abdullah. And then they both greeted me with the hug. They kissed me on both cheeks. It was a whole thing. The moment they knew I was Muslim, and the price per pair of the shoes went down dramatically. That's just my experience with them. That's my experience. They're always in this traditional clothing that they wear. They're always in that, no matter what they're doing. They're always in that. You know, you never see them hiding like these Zionists in Hollywood. You know, you see some actress and all of a sudden it's some Jewish holiday or something, and suddenly everybody's suddenly Jewish, and you're like, wait, I didn't know this stuff was even Jewish, and they changed their name and everything. You know, I mean, these people don't hide. You understand? Excuse me. They don't hide. So know that. And also, not too long back, I think I shared the video, or I don't know if I told you about it, if I actually shared the video with you, but there was some Hebrew Israelites out there doing their yelling and screaming. And these guys, no, they were out there, I think, with their table somewhere in Washington, D.C. I feel like it was on the National Mall or near it, whatever. And the Hebrew Israelites came along. And they started with their, you know, we're the Jews, woo. But all that they were yelling and screaming and being very nasty to them, they still maintained their piety. They would not argue with them. They still were being very kind and gracious and gave understanding looks, even if it might have been fake. We don't know. And they were packing up their stuff anyways, and they went back to their, I think they had a van or something parked over there. And they were out. But again, they never tried to contest them. They respected them in spite of the fact that they were, y'all know how the Hebrew Israelites can be. Which is one of my issues with them. Like, I feel you. And so, but first of all, stop with the one person has to yell and scream into the mic everything that you, when you want a scripture, they have to yell it to the highest mountain on the microphone already. It's just certain things that are just annoying. And that's one of them. They have to do that. They're just way too, their message doesn't get across because of their presentation. You know, it just, oh my, but anyways, that's off subject. Just to say that even that, you know, their whole demeanor and everything. And when they go, I brought you video here on the channel. When they go to this fake state of Israel, they are spit on. They are physically attacked. I have a video here on the channel that I brought you. It might have been in my live stream. I never know if it's in the live stream or if it's recorded video. I don't know, but I have it. It's here on the channel. And I specifically wanted to show you what I had been telling you for years. And that is that the Zionists don't like the Jews. Because they're not on board with their Zionist vomit. Let's hear a little bit more of this.
The worst crime, the most insidious persecution that the state of Israel has ever perpetrated against the Jewish people happened in 1948.
Did you hear that? The most insidious and worst crime that's ever been perpetrated against the Jewish people was in 1948. Go on.
When they dared to call themselves the state of Israel.
When they dared to call themselves the state of Israel. What have I told you for years? It is against Judaic law for them to establish a state. It doesn't matter if somebody's there or if it's just a barren piece of land that no human on earth would want. They are not allowed to establish a state. That's Judaic law, dude. That's just Judaic law. It's like I was telling you earlier about, you know, people may do some stuff and they'll call it that according to their faith or religion when it has nothing to do with that. So these people have nothing to do with the Jews. These Zionist evil ass people that are murdering and slaughtering people in Gaza. Nothing at all. And here is the proof.
Of Israel. When they dared to refer to themselves as a Jewish state. Do you know that a week after the flotilla incident,
you may remember the flotilla incident. He's saying, do you know that a week after the flotilla incident, hear this?
Flotilla incident, Jews in Turkey were scared to leave their houses.
And see, that's happening now. This whole thing is making it bad for the Jews because people don't know there's a difference in Zionists and Jews. They don't know these people have hijacked the Jewish way of life, or the way of life known as Judaism. So they see somebody that they don't know is not a Zionist, and now they're ready to attack them. You see, either verbally or physically or whatever, they insult them, whatever they do. And this is that. What he even just said, even when the flotilla thing happened, the people of the Jews in Turkey were afraid to leave their house because nobody knows that they're not on board with this vomit. So it makes it bad. It makes it bad, dude. It makes it bad. It makes it bad. Damn it. Hear this now. It's not a very long clip at all. I don't know if I even need it at all. I just want you to get a sense of and proving what I said to you and showing you, like, yeah, there really was this big ass rally of Orthodox Jews saying, we're not with that Zionist crap. We're not even with their state, their flag, none of it. None of that has anything to do with us at all. At all.
Were scared to leave their houses. They didn't even go to the synagogue because the local residents of Turkey blamed them and would hold them accountable for the acts of the state of Israel.
See, I guess that's their equivalent of boo, like, to agree that that is some bullshit. Go on.
That is the most insidious crime
The most
that
insidious.
state has committed against our people. They thought, in their great brilliance, that in order to eliminate anti-Semitism and in order to protect the Jewish people, we have to change what the Jewish people are from a religion, a mamleches kaihanim, a goy kodesh, to a nation of soldiers and warriors. What in the world is a Jewish state? Can you tell me? I know what a Jewish...
You see his body language? Like, what the hell is this? Look at his body language even. Like, what the hell is a Jewish state? Look.
What in the world is a Jewish state? Can you tell me? I know what a Jewish person is. I know what a Jewish philosophy is. But the adjective Jewish does not accommodate the noun state.
And know this. These are not the people that are running the shit. You understand when everybody says, oh, they run it? It's not them. Like the Muslim, they don't get involved in secular crap. You understand? That's why I've told you over the years. I said, you don't know any Jews. You've never seen one. You've never seen one. Because they never put these people up on television. They're not on MSNBC and CNN and all of it. You see, they always put up some Zionist. And again, because of the ignorance of the people, everybody thinks, well, that's a Jew. And it is not. And you're hearing it directly from the genuine article that are saying, You saw them like, what the hell is a Jewish state? What is that? Well, what is that? It's so against their belief and their tenets. It's so foreign. Go on.
It's like saying a Jewish tree, a Jewish car. What does it mean? The only way the Zionists were able to create a Jewish state for the noun state to accommodate the adjective Jewish is to change the definition of Jewish. They thought that by now all the Jews in the world, or all that matter anyway, will be remade in their own image, that the world would be at peace with them, that they'd be able to vanquish their enemies with their armies. And now they see that we still live. They see that we are here and we are rapidly expanding, and they see that we raise our voices. They see that they are a failure. And that's why they hate us. This is the greatest crime committed against the Jewish people by the Zionists, the identity theft. We Jews are blamed in the eyes of the world. We are held accountable. for the actions of the state of Israel. We need to tell the world that Zionism is not Judaism.
There you have it.
We need to tell the world that the state of Israel is not our elected officials.
You hear that? Zionism is not Judaism, said the Orthodox Jew. Go on.
They do not speak in our name.
They do not speak in our name. So the people out there crying that somebody's anti-Semitic every 10 minutes is not these people, everybody. Let's be very clear. Let's be very, very clear. Let's be very clear. Go on.
We need to tell the world that that credit card that they're using to do whatever they're doing was stolen from us. We don't want credit for what they do, and we don't want accountability for what they do.
Wait, you saw the White House in the back in that clip. Go back, Jedi. There. You see the White House? I believe that's the White House.
We don't want credit for what they do, and we don't want accountability for what they do. And to you, Mr. Netanyahu, do you...
You mentioned Satan Yahoo, and you see they have that boo thing going on. They're saying something else. There's some kind of roar or wailing that they do, but you see they're against that. He just mentioned Satan Yahoo, and they go up. Go on.
Do you recognize these words? You should. Because this is Judaism, untwisted and undistorted. We will fight until we will triumph, and triumph we will, because you know what, Mr. Netanyahu, we do not fight alone. At our side are generations of Jews. At our side are the 6 million Kedoshim. And at our side is our Rabbeinu Shalom, who has kept us alive for 2,000 years. One of the reasons being is because we were not Zionists. Mr. Netanyahu, you could bring your Air Force and your army to fight us, but we will triumph.
And by the way, as I said to you, so these would be the people who lived alongside the Palestinians for many, many decades in peace, harmony, and tranquility. No issues. You didn't have any issues until the Zionists started coming. Right there, that's when you had the white evil. Right there. Right there. And also, like the Muslim, they grow their beards. Do you understand? The Prophet ﷺ said if a man is able to grow hair on his face, he should grow it. He should have a beard. Men should look like men and women should look like women, everybody. We don't have any ambiguity in the Islamic world. We know who's a man, we know who's a woman. We're not confused about it. But I thought it a good idea to just point out that they also wear their beards. Go on.
Because what we have on our side, you are outnumbered.
I think that might be all we need. We made the point, and there's only maybe a couple minutes of it left. But we've made the point, though. You see, and you see the sign says, a sovereign Jewish state violates Torah principles. Drop the mic. That's it. These people want nothing to do with Zionism, the state of Israel, their flag, the murdering and genocide that they are perpetrating upon Gaza and the West Bank, and now they've expanded it to Lebanon and fucking Iran, and they just want to kill everybody. Know that these people are not on board with that. I cannot stress this strong enough. This has nothing to do with Judaism at all. Not a damn Not a damn. So always know that there's a difference between the Orthodox Jew and the Zionist. There's no connection there at all. The Zionist is trying to cloak themselves and wrap themselves falsely in Judaism and claim that they are Jews and they're acting on behalf of Jews. They are not. They are not. They are not. The Jedi has spoken the truth. Let me go and pray, everybody. You won't even know it because you won't even know it because of the I won't leave it recording while I go pray. But anyways, I'm just telling you. So I'll be back. So I don't remember what I was saying before I went to go pray, but I will say this. I want to show you now, just show you, because we don't need to get into it at all. But it's worth noting one of the other, because that whole thing with Nate or with Ta-Nehisi Coates and the Zionist, again, as I said to you, because Ta-Nehisi is an award-winning author and reporter, he's not able to tear him down and discount him like he really wanted to. I suggest, I proclaim. But there was still supposed to be an inference there. Hear me. An inference, based on everything you heard the Zionist puppet say, that to try and level this charge or this label onto Ta-Nehisi that he's anti-Semitic and he's against the Jews. It didn't work. It didn't work. And because I see so much reaction to it, also validates or confirms, not that I needed it, that others see through the vomit and saw it for what it really was. Do you understand? Now, I call him my left-handed Jew. I've been doing it for decades, decades, because Jon Stewart has been known to me for decades. Jon Stewart of The Daily Show, right? And so here is Jon Stewart interviewing Ta-Nehisi about his book, The Message. And Jon Stewart is a Jew. I call him my left-handed Jew because he's also left-handed. You guys know that I'm not left-handed, but I keep a list of people that are in the public eye, anybody that I see that's left-handed. Because somewhere in my life, I feel like it was before I was even in college, I had heard somewhere, somebody made the statement that, left-handed people tend to be the most successful people in the society. And so anytime I've been on a job interview or I've been watching something on television, whatever I'm watching, anybody that is noteworthy or successful or powerful, I always notice what hand do they write with. I've been doing it for many, 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 many years, you guys. Many, many years. And of course, he's on my list. But so again, he's a Jew and he had Ta-Nehisi on his show. You see, then you had the Majority Report. They covered it as well. They even titled their piece, "This interview was insane." I didn't watch their piece, but clearly they had problems with it, and they tend to be fair-minded. I think that this guy, they both might be Jews, but I think this guy represents himself as such. I don't know that for sure. His last name is Setter, so I don't know, but that's not important. The fact of the matter is they usually are on the right side of things, and so they were condemning it here. And so it just didn't work. You see, that's my overall point. It didn't work. It didn't work. It just didn't work. How dare Ta-Nehisi bring the truth? And it doesn't make us look like victims. Quick, get him. Try and tear him down in an interview. It didn't work. Damn it. We can't go on. So that's the state of things. And so, like I said, there's a lot of them out there. Like a lot of people were reacting to this because it was just some bullshit. And even more so now because there's such an awareness now, as I cited earlier, because of the advent of social media and the internet. More people, the masses, are now able to see, haha, there's two sides to this story, and it doesn't look good for Israel. You see, so something like this is not having the desired effect that the Zionists would want. Just wouldn't want it. And Ta-Nehisi really played the trump card when he said, I'm a child of Jim Crow. Like, ain't nothing you gonna say back to that shit. You see, nothing you can say back to that. So it was just delicious on so many levels, and I loved it. So now I want to get into our piece with Marcellus Khalifa Williams, and scrutinize and interrogate that whole situation. I will tell you now that I'm very ignorant on this topic. I don't know all of the parameters of this case, but even when I learned about it just from a cursory standpoint, I had already knew in my mind that I would do what I do so often for you guys. I always just learn and react in real time, because for me, I understand the value of that. Because I get to not only deal with the topic, but it's an opportunity for anyone who would witness me and my work to see and thereby / learn how I do dissertation, how I receive and disseminate information that I'm exposed to. You get to see that in real time, and it not only gives you a window into my process, but I also hope that by doing it, it inspires you to to do something comparable to that as well. Like, don't just accept shit. Like, interrogate everything. And I always tell you, language is so important, everybody. I'm a lover of language. And I've always told you that language matters so much when you're listening or reading or seeing or hearing anything. It's not just what the person is saying, but you want to know how are they saying it and what language are they using to say it. Words matter. So I'm going to be learning as we go through this. Now, I selected this piece because the title, why was Marcellus Williams executed? What to know about the Missouri case. So I'm expecting it's going to give me some education. But as I'm so often known to do, if this doesn't give us everything that I feel we need in the salad, then we will pull other pieces as well to satisfy the goal of, at the end of it, we want to know everything about this case from every single angle and perspective. We want to know that we know this story. We know it. We know it. So this is the piece we will begin with from Al Jazeera. I should also say, as a footnote to the previous story, in case I don't remember to say it in my summation at the end of this video, that they have expanded their aggression and their terror upon Lebanon. They are attacking Iran. I mean, it's clear that they're doing what many who pay attention have known for many years. They want to attack everybody in that damn region. Because remember, it is the way of white people to conquer. They're always the conquerors. Go someplace and conquer, conquer, fucking conquer. It's never just how can we get along with these people and be one of. They always have to be the leader, the dictator, the one controlling everything and all of it. It's them, everybody. It's them. It's them. And so they've wanted this wider war. And for all of the bullshit we hear from our government about we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon, we can't allow it, we can't allow North Korea to have a nuclear weapon in there. It's always somebody they can't allow to have nuclear weapons. When the only people who have ever used a fucking nuclear weapon are white people. This becomes important now because Israel is a nuclear fucking nation. And they would have no problem using a nuclear weapon on some of these Arab countries. No doubt in my mind about it. They're the ones. They're the ones. And they're so good at always telling you who else is dangerous and bad and a threat and all the shit, when they motherfucking ass is the biggest threat on the damn earth and have shown and proven it and continue to show and prove it. That's what's real. That's what's real. So this is going to be very ugly. And I should also mention to you, there is a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that identifies that one of the signs of the hour is what it's known as. Now, the hour could be many decades, it could be several years, it could be, we don't know what that time frame is when Allah uses the term the hour, and certainly the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in this hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that one of the signs of the hour is that the Jews will fight the Muslims in a major conflict, but the Jews will be destroyed. The Muslims will be victorious. This is the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is the fact. So put that into your thinking pot as well. Thought I should mention that. But they want this wider conflict. They want it. And I suggest to you that one of the many reasons why this Kamala Harris person, why the race is even close, is because she refuses to say what the majority of civilized human beings want her or anybody else to say. And that is, Israel is some bullshit and we're not giving them nothing else. We're not going to sit here continue begging with you for ceasefires and deals and shit. We're not going to be a part of it. We're not giving you no help. We're not giving you no more money. We're not giving you no more weapons. We are over your ass. Poof, you'd have a ceasefire that minute. That moment, you'd have a ceasefire. And let us record that there is no Latin nation that has mass attacked on a civilian population or a country anywhere on the planet. There is no Arab nation that has mass attacked civilians or a country on a mass scale for no damn reason anywhere in history. We don't have it. You don't have a single African nation that has aggressed and attacked on another nation and killed their civilians off. You don't have it. I could keep going down the list. The only people that have made this a reality of human existence is white people. We have to be mindful of that. We have to be mindful. We have to be mindful. As I speak, you have many thousands of Africans in Sudan being murdered off. this white devil has instigated conflict in Somalia. They've given you Boko Haram in Nigeria. They've killed off millions in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is all going on now. This is the virus upon humanity. This is the virus upon humanity and human existence. And the rest of humanity needs to get about being over tiptoeing around these people's feelings and giving a damn what they think, say, or feel. We give no fucks at all. Truth and righteousness is all we need to be beholden to, and nothing else. Nothing else. Now, my understanding of this case, here's what I know before I read or do anything. Here's all I know right now. Marcellus Khalifa Williams was wrongfully accused of a murder of some white bitch. That he has been incarcerated for many, many years. He was given the death penalty, and so now the time has come up for his execution. And that there had been an outcry. And I can't even articulate from all who. But there was an outcry about this execution, that many people were petitioning to stop the execution. And of course, they didn't stop it, and he has been executed. I also learned that he had become Muslim during the course of his incarceration, and indeed had risen to the status of an imam, and the religious leader in prison. What else do I know? Yeah, that's all I know. Was there anything else? No, that's all I know. So let us read and understand. And then also the timing, also, everybody, is always something to consider when you have big events that are elevated to mass awareness. Because they decide what's going to be elevated to mass awareness. We don't control that. Do you understand? They decide what's going to be elevated. So we always have to look at timing of anything that takes place. You know, it may mean nothing, but it also could mean something. So we always have to interrogate that. Like, why are they letting this? Why is this being elevated? Why? You know. That's one of the things we seek to find out. So it says, why was Marcellus Williams executed? What to know about the Missouri case? Marcellus Williams has been executed in Missouri despite objections from prosecutors, and though the family of the woman he allegedly murdered agreed to his life imprisonment. So the prosecutors was even saying, nope, this is some bullshit. You see, not the defense attorneys, the prosecutors. And the family of the victim is saying, no, we're okay with the life imprisonment. You see, we don't want execution. So despite all of that, and there was another case that we had just a few years ago. I don't remember the brother's name. May Allah forgive me. But remember, there was an outcry. The Pope, I mean, everybody on earth was saying, stop this damn execution for the love of God. And what the white devil do? They went right on with the damn execution. It's time the rest of us get as ruthless as them. Because sometimes you need a slice of your own damn pie to know how shitty it is. You see? It's easy for you to just dish out saucers of pie to everybody else, and it tastes like some bullshit, but you ain't had a slice. Sometimes people need a slice of their own damn pie. Know that. Know that. And there is a picture of the brother. Marcellus Williams, a 55-year-old man whose murder conviction was called into question by a prosecutor, has been executed by lethal injection. That's their opening sentence. Wow. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this and open it up in another tab, and we will see if we need to look at it once we get through this. Williams was put to death shortly after 2300 GMT. I don't know what GMT is. On Tuesday at a prison in Bon Terre in Missouri. Despite objections from prosecutors who sought to have his conviction overturned, and even though the family of the woman he was accused of having murdered had agreed to life imprisonment for Williams. This comes as inmates on death row in 5 states are set to be executed within a week. And I'm sure all, if not just the majority, look like me and you. Here is what we know about Williams, the case, and the death penalty in the United States. Who was Marcellus Williams? Marcellus, a black man, was a devout Muslim, an imam for prisoners, and a poet, according to his legal team. He spent 23 years in prison, and during his time, he devoted much of his time to studying Islam and writing poetry, according to the Innocence Project, a non-profit that works with people whom it believes have been wrongfully convicted. He also acted as the imam for Muslim inmates at Potosi Correctional Center and was referred to as Khalifa, which means leader in Arabic. Williams, I was going to go past it because I don't want to, I'm trying not to be longer than I need to be, but that's just some bullshit. Khalifa does not mean leader, everybody. The Khalifa is the successor. You understand? Or ruler. It can be leader, but not so much, because they've already told you that he was an imam. Imam literally means leader. That's what imam is. Imam. And this is what we call what you would call your pastor, your preacher, your bishop, all that stuff. Ours is called an imam. You understand? So it's a little technical, but whatever. It's not the most important thing, but I'm a little antsy about things like that. Williams, Khalifa's last statement on 21st September was, quote, "All praise be to Allah in every situation," end quote. Federal public defenders for Khalifa said his faith was a large part of his identity and that he regretted not finding it earlier in life. He became religious while he was in prison. Marcellus Williams has been executed. His final statement was made public. All praise be to Allah in every situation. We'll just hear this. This is from, it looks like Twitter or Facebook or something. Let's see if we're able to hear this. Where's my punch? Oh, as it's called now. I'm over it. How do I enlarge this? Where's the damn controls? There we go. Come on, man. It was nothing. Okay, screw that then. It's not the most important thing. We're over it. I don't know why that didn't play. I mean, there was no sound, so I'm not understanding. Anyways, what was Khalifa accused of? In 2001, Khalifa was convicted for murder, for the murder of Felicia Gale, a former newspaper reporter and a social worker who was found stabbed to death in her home in 1998. During the trial, prosecutors said that Khalifa broke into her home on 11th August 1998, noticed the shower running, and picked up a large butcher knife. When Gail came downstairs, she was stabbed 43 times, and her purse and her husband's laptop were stolen. So just a second. He, somebody allegedly breaks into her house on 11th August 1998 and noticed the shower running. But they said to us that when Gail came downstairs, so how I don't know the house, we never saw it, we don't know it, but if you're downstairs, how would you know somebody's taking a shower upstairs? I'll allow that the acoustics of a home and how it's built and the materials and everything, maybe it's just loud and you would hear somebody's upstairs taking a shower. But then why wouldn't you just take the laptop and the what else? Uh, and her purse and be out? Why would you need to wait for her to? Because when she gets out of the shower, she got to dry off. She's a white woman, so she's got to dry her hair. You feel me? And just all the stuff that people do when you get out of the shower. You know, if the phone rings, you may be trying to get out quick, because you're expecting an important call and you don't have time to do anything, and now you're tracking water everywhere. That's fine, but this is not that. So whoever it is, they waited instead of just taking the laptop and the purse and been out. No, let's wait for her and stab her 43 times. Not only that, but the 43 times is also concerning, because if you're just trying to get away, maybe she walked in on you or caught you stealing the purse or the laptop. We'll offer that. So most times thieves will just injure you enough to get away, whether they're using a gun or a knife. It doesn't matter. They just need to slow you down from getting, for slow you down from stopping them. 43 times is an investment, everybody. And I would offer that it's personal. 43 times. That means I want to make sure this bitch is dead. That's a far cry from, damn, I gotta stab this bitch so she won't come after me. That's, 1, 2, maybe 3 stabs. I'll even give you 5 just because I'm feeling generous. But 43. 43, that's personal. It's personal. It means I gotta stab you for all the shit you ever did to me. 43 times. Wow. Let's go on. Authorities said that during that day, Khalifa wore a jacket to hide blood on his shirt. He wore a jacket to hide the blood on his shirt. You wouldn't want blood all over you. That means he didn't have a location. Well, let's read the paragraph before I make my synopsis. He wanted to hide the blood on his shirt. His girlfriend questioned why he would wear a jacket on such a hot day, and later saw the stolen purse and laptop in his car. Khalifa sold the laptop a day or two afterwards. Just a second. If I break in and steal something today, I need the money today. I'm not waiting 2 or 3 days. I'm stealing it today. I'm getting the money today. That's one. Number two, this suggests that he wasn't going back to his house immediately. He would have known that. Like, you don't do a robbery like on your way to the store or something. Like, I'm going to the store. Robbery was nowhere in your mind. And oh my God, turns out I got to stop and do a murder or do a robbery. So you're not going to be sitting there stabbing somebody 43 times. That's going to produce more and more and more and more blood. More and more. And I would suggest a lot of it. So he only had blood on his shirt. He should have had blood on everything. His pants should have had blood on them. Maybe his shoes would have been spared. But I'm from everything we've read so far, I only get a visual of somebody that would be covered in blood. It would just be a shirt that you could cover up with a jacket. Like, then I'm over it. And if in fact he did have blood on him, then now we need to understand what brought everybody to this place where he's not guilty. Like, read on, Jedi. You're getting ahead of yourself. So he sells the laptop a few 2 or 3 days later, a day or two later. So they're not even sure when he sold the laptop, apparently, because they say a day or two after. So they don't really know when he sold it. Okay. But the girlfriend is said to have seen the stolen purse, seen the stolen purse and laptop in his car. All right, this is getting very interesting to me now. All right, prosecutors also presented testimony from Henry Cole, who shared a cell with Khalifa in 1999 while Khalifa, was jailed. Why am I hiccuping so damn much? While Khalifa was jailed for an armed robbery of a donut shop. Cole claimed that Khalifa confessed to the murder and provided specific details. I never believed that shit. The worst witness on planet Earth that you're going to offer up to me as credible and say you should hear what they said and take this as truth is somebody that's already in fucking jail. Not believing it. Because they immediately have incentive, you see. And we also know that even if they don't have incentive and they wouldn't even want to do it, you can get some of these prosecutors and police to get them into a room and terrorize them and abuse them and threaten their life and their family and their friends and say, you're going to say this or else. So that has no validity at all, you know. And he's in there for robbery of a donut shop and he just decides to tell you everything. I don't believe you. Has no validity at all. Means absolutely nothing in the eyes of the Jedi. Tonight, Missouri executed an innocent man. Our hearts are with Marcellus and his loved ones. That's from the Innocence Project. Missouri's executed Marcellus Khalifa Williams despite serious doubts about the integrity of his conviction. Our hearts are with Marcellus and his loved ones. What did Khalifa's defense argue? Lawyers argued that there was no forensic evidence connecting Khalifa to the crime scene and that the murder weapon had been mishandled, casting doubt on the DNA evidence. Just a second. His girlfriend said that they said that he had blood on his shirt and that he was wearing this jacket. Where's the shirt that would have had his DNA on it. And did they recover the purse? And if the laptop was sold a day or two later, to quote them, did they ever locate the laptop? And if so, was his DNA on it? I'd like to know the answer to that. Maybe they will answer that as we go through it, but that needs to be answered. So that the murder weapon was mishandled, and it cast doubt on the DNA evidence. So I guess that their DNA is on the knife or the murder weapon, and, and so that you know, testing showed that DNA on the knife belonged to members of the prosecutor's office who handled it without gloves after the original crime lab tests. So, what were the original crime lab tests? What was the result of those? Before we even get to members of the prosecutor's office handling it, what was there a finding from the original crime lab tests? Was there a finding? We know there was an original crime lab test now, but do we know the findings of that test? Let's go on. According to a report by the Associated Press, Khalifa's defense also argued that both the girlfriend and the fucking lying convict had felony convictions and were seeking a $10,000 reward. They also noted that other evidence, such as a bloody shoe print and hair found at the crime scene, did not match Khalifa's. So, just a second. This must be an ex-girlfriend if she's making statements. Certainly, if you was my woman and you making statements about anything, your ass is fired. That would be a wrap right there instantly. And the Henry Cole guy has no relevance to us, everybody, as far as we're concerned in our prosecution of this case. This has nothing to do with anything. We're over it. You see, the girlfriend is only significant in that now we understand at least a motive potentially from her, that there was a $10,000 reward and she was trying to get it. Okay, fine if she's trying to get it or not, but was there any validity to what she said? They say that his defense argued that both of these people had felony convictions. I don't care if she had a felony. I don't care. And were seeking a $10,000 reward. They also noted that the other evidence, such as a bloody shoe print and hair at the crime scene, did not match Khalifa's. According to local media reports, Khalifa did sell a laptop computer that was stolen from Gale's home. But the local prosecutor, Wesley Bill, said that there was evidence that he had received the computer from his bitch-ass girlfriend. Both witnesses, his girlfriend and the lying convict, died in the intervening years. Wow. Well, they got their just to do. You feel me? Like, that's what you get for lying on me. Interesting. So they say that he did purchase a computer. Or that there's evidence that he received the computer from this lying whore, or this disloyal traitor ass whore. So it wasn't a sale, that he received it from her ass. And now they're both dead. But over the years, Khalifa was spared from the execution in 2015 and 2017, but this did not result in his conviction being overturned. He was just spared. Bill, who is the prosecutor, Wesley Bill, okay, Bill also said that a prosecutor had improperly rejected black potential jurors, resulting in a jury with 11 white devil members and 1 black member. Well, that right there is a mistrial. You're supposed to have a jury of your peers. White people are not your peer. Not your peer. I cite for you. There was a case that I brought you a few years ago. There was a black judge. There was a black defendant. And he scolded defense attorney as well as the prosecutors, I think. He was like, I'm not allowing this trial to go forward because don't nobody on that damn jury look like your damn client. I'm over it. And didn't allow the trial to go forward. You see? So that was perfect. And so such is the case. You can't listen, this is the history of our people, everybody, in this satanic ass nation of white people. Going back to Emmett Till, George Stinney, these are just the names we can name. Many thousands of our people were murdered by these white devils in the middle of the night, terrorized and taken from our homes and taken out and murdered. And no justice was ever given. You understand? Just like now, the police murder you off and there is no justice. When are we going to get the clue that justice has to come from us and not the fucking people that murdered you? So this is their modus operandi. They've always done it. They've always done it. Then they give you a white jury. In the case of even Emmett Till, or was this the George Stinney case? One of them where the jury just went back there and was just socializing. They wasn't doing any deliberating. They was just like, let us just stay back here a little while so it looks like we did something. Wallahi, this is what happened. And they went out and proclaimed guilty, or not guilty, to the white murderers. You see, any nefarious stuff they try and project, that they try and say that you would do, they just telling you about themselves. That's it. Just like in this fucking Israel, they claim the babies were beheaded, the women were raped, and all this shit is exactly what they're doing to the Palestinians. Not the Palestinians doing it to them. And we have evidence of them doing the shit. Again, this is white projection. That's all it is. Goes back to what I said. They don't want anybody to have a nuclear weapon. They could use it. They're a madman. No, you're the madman. You're projecting. Your bitch ass has used the nuclear weapon. You telling on yourself. That's all you're doing. You're not talking about nobody. You're telling it on yourself. So here you had 11 white fucking people and 1 black person. That's it. The one time we've had, that we know of, that we've had a white jury that did the right thing was in the case of Michael Joseph Jackson. That's it. But you'll also recall the case of, was it the, I think it might have been the George Zimmerman thing, where there was 1 black juror, but all the white jurors intimidated and harassed the black juror. And she came out and told how she was harassed and the bullshit they put her through. Don't tell me anything about these demons. Don't. And there'll be no benefits of doubts and all that kind of bullshit. I'm not in that class. I'm not that type of black man. I don't do that shit. Nah. I'm the real, genuine article. Anyways, so the jury was bullshit. Khalifa should be alive today, the prosecutor said in a statement on Tuesday. Quote, there were multiple points in the timeline where when decisions could have been made that would have spared him the death penalty, end quote. Khalifa maintained his innocence for decades. This is the prosecutor, Wesley Bell. My statement on the execution of Marcellus Williams. Marcellus Williams should be alive today. Okay, that was a quote from what we just read. All right. What other mechanisms were used to defend Marcellus? Questions about the DNA led Prosecutor Bell to request a hearing challenging Khalifa's guilt. The date was set for 21st August. But days before the 21st August hearing, new tests revealed that the DNA found on the murder weapon belonged to members of the prosecutor's office. Okay, they still haven't told us about that the original preliminary forensic test that they did. We know it happened, but what were the findings? I still ask this. Now, this was after that test. This was another one now. That DNA test found on the knife was members of the prosecution. All right. With no DNA evidence pointing to any alternative suspects, the lawyers reached a compromise with the prosecutor's office. Khalifa would enter a new no contest plea, which is I'm guilty, but I'm not guilty, but I'm not gonna fight you to prove my innocence. That's what no contest means. Enter a new no contest plea to first degree murder in exchange for a life sentence without parole. To any of my people on the sound of my voice, if you ever, God forbid, are faced with any of this bullshit, or if you know someone who is going through anything right now, the rule in our community needs to be you don't take any deals at all, especially when you know you're innocent. Don't take any deals at all. None. Don't let them give you this horror story. If it goes to a jury, you could be convicted. You just have to put your faith and trust in the one that created you and stand on truth and righteousness. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. Don't take no damn deals. A no contest plea is not an admission of guilt, but is treated as such for the purpose of sentencing. That's what I just explained to you. No contest means I'm not guilty, but I'm not gonna put up a fight. Like I don't, for whatever reason, I can't contest what you're charging me with, but I'm not gonna admit guilt. But it's always taken as, well, guilty. And as they say, and it's treated as such for the purpose of sentencing. Judge Bruce Hilton approved the agreement, as did the victim's family. However, Republican Attorney General Andrew Bailey appealed, leading the state Supreme Court to block the agreement and order Hilton to conduct an evidentiary hearing. Wow. So, in other words, they wanted to just say no contest and sentence my client now. He'll just go ahead and take the life without parole. That wasn't enough for this white devil. You see? So, no. He steps in, this Republican bastard, who is the Republican Attorney General, and said, no, we want an evidentiary hearing. In other words, he's pleaded guilty now, for all intents and purposes, but this life without parole is not enough for us. We want an evidentiary hearing so we can do the death penalty. Because know this, everybody, for white people, it's never about justice. It's always about revenge. It's always about revenge. And they should be thanking their lucky stars that we're always screaming justice and not revenge. Because we could enter into a nightmare they would never wake up from. Let's be very clear about that. So he wants this evidentiary hearing so that he can now instigate the death penalty. Because again, it's all about revenge for them. It's never just about justice. It's never about justice. Prosecutor Keith Larner said that he had excluded a potential black juror because of how similar they were, saying they looked like they were brothers. Huh? You see? A few things you should understand from that, everybody. I will tell you, this white devil knows what they know what I know, but they know what you should know. That is, if you're an African person, no matter what space you in, you should be there acting on behalf of what is good for African people. It's like I've told you a million times. If you're just going to get up there and do the same thing somebody white would do, we don't need you. That's why I've said to you, there are no firsts, anything for us in this bitch. February is just around the corner. It'll be Black History Month yet again. And every show on TV, when they go to commercial, they'll have their African American history break. And they'll put up some picture of somebody who looks damn near white. So and so, so and so, the first African American to do such and such. There's been no firsts, everybody. You don't have any firsts at all. Because when it's a first, it's going to feel like a first. It's going to look like a first, and you're going to know it's a first. Nobody got to tell you. You feel what I'm telling you? So they expect that if you're a black juror on this damn jury hearing this bullshit, you're going to stand for your brother. And all their history shows, like I told you with the George Stinney case and Emmett Till, and there's many other thousands that we could cite, they've already made up their mind before it even happens. And you see they don't care about any verdict, because even though OJ was found not guilty, they still claim OJ is guilty. Michael Jackson found not guilty, they still claim Michael's. So verdict don't matter to them if they didn't make it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We need to keep that same energy. They make up their mind. They don't follow the law. And they come out and you're supposed to just believe because they say that they follow the law. White people go by what they think. That's it. They don't care about anything else. You see that? Why was Trump president the first time and could be president again? Because they don't give a fuck. Don't let them tell you there's any policy or it's the economy. There ain't none of that. This is the white dude that stands up and says all the white vomit that we want to say, and he hates the niggers, so that needs to be our guy. He acts on behalf of whiteness, so we want him as president. Be damn what he does. I'm okay with that. We just need to keep that same energy. What's good for the goose? Do you understand? So you have a prosecutor, this Keith Lerner person, admitting he got rid of a potential black juror because he looked like Khalifa. Wow. Familial brothers, quote unquote, he continued. I don't mean black people. Well, what the fuck else did you mean? Because did none of them other 11 look anything like him in a familial way, white demon? Huh? And that's just the 11 that you chose. That means there was others that you didn't choose. Did any of them have a familial look? You just dug yourself deeper. No white person looks like me. And conversely, I don't look like any white person. So this was bullshit. He tried to clean it up. He admits that he excused a black juror because they looked like they were brothers. Then he tries to say, oh, well, familial brothers. I don't mean black people. Again, they say anything, you're supposed to believe them just because they said it. They never give you that fucking benefit of the doubt on anything. He also mentioned that the knife had already been tested and that it was not recognized at the time that touch could have DNA traces of evidence. Just a second, I'll read it again. He also mentioned that the knife had already been tested and that it was not recognized at the time that touch could leave DNA traces on evidence. That's not true. This took place in what? 1990. What? Wait now. Oh my God. We got to get this answer though, y'all. Sorry. Wait now. Uh, 21st September. Blah, 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 blah. He was convicted in 2001. Okay, 21st August 1998. But just a second. If he wasn't convicted until 2001, DNA evidence was known. You understand? The OJ case had already happened. What year was the OJ case? Let's see. Let's ask the late whore. What year was the OJ Simpson trial?
According to Wikipedia, Simpson was tried and acquitted for the murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman, who were stabbed to death outside Brown's condominium in Los Angeles on June 12, 1994. The trial spanned 8 months, from January 24th to October 3rd, 1995.
There. So we knew DNA and how it worked and where all this. So this is not true. Not true at all. Not true at all. What did it say? It fuck. Oh, he also mentioned that the knife had already been tested and that it was not recognized at the time. In other words, we didn't know at the time that if you touch something, could leave DNA traces on evidence. That's not true. It's not true at all. It's not true. Damn. Wow. Wow. Experts say that racism remains a significant issue in the United States. And no, experts say that white racism remains a significant issue in the United States. It's the issue and could have played a role in this case. You think? Huh. Quote, if I'm representing some white person who kills a black person, it's relatively easy to get them off. Clive Stafford Smith, a human rights lawyer and director of the UK charity 3DC, told Al Jazeera. But if it's a black person who kills some fucking white person, it is vastly harder. And that's totally racism. Stafford Smith, who has defended many death row prisoners, added. Quote, and the other element of it with Khalifa, of course, was that the prosecutor got rid of the blacks from the jury. So you have this white jury judging a black man. And as I've said to you, white people should never be allowed to sit in judgment of anybody, least of all African people. Should never happen, because my life experience has informed me that they do not have the capacity for partiality. You understand? To be impartial. They don't have it. They don't have it. And they don't understand us. They don't know us. Okay, I gotta go pray. Wait, no, come on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Again, you won't feel it, but bye-bye. I'll be back. Alhamdulillah. Where was I now? Judging a black man. Yeah, okay. So I was saying that they don't know us. They shouldn't be allowed to judge us. You understand? Black people are way more dependable about being impartial and fair. Sadly, because what we should be is answering their shit. So anytime you have a jury that's majority black, I don't give a fuck what the defendant did. God damn it, not guilty. You see, just to piss their ass off and give them a slice of their own pie. There's that analogy again. All right. What was ruled on 12th September? On 12th September, Hilton ruled that the first-degree murder conviction and death sentence would remain in place. Hilton was the judge who had accepted the deal that they made. Like, okay, no contest, life in prison, end of story, next case. All right. He had ruled that the first-degree murder conviction and death sentence would remain in place, stating that Khalifa's argument had all been previously dismissed. The state Supreme Court upheld this decision on Monday. Governor Michael Parson, a Republican, I'm over it, turned down Khalifa's request for clemency. Just a second, you just jumped to that? Wait now. On 12 September, he ruled that the first-degree conviction, death sentence. Oh, and death sentence. Okay, not life in prison. I thought. Okay. So this bastard, who had already agreed to life in prison, he ruled on 12 September that first-degree murder conviction and death sentence would remain in place. So they've kind of skipped us ahead. Like last we knew of this particular portion of it was the evidentiary hearing that they wanted. So they never told us when that evidentiary hearing happened and when it was upgraded from life in prison to death penalty. They didn't say that to us. Now they've jumped ahead to September of this year, and suddenly this guy's already ruled that the death penalty will remain in place. Not sure when that happened, but whatever. We'll just jump there, and now we're there. Okay, fine. Not that we needed that chronology, but it would be nice to have it, so that we have a full snapshot of the timeline of what has happened in the case legally, to him. But it's fine. Go on, Jedi. So, and then of course the state Supreme Court upheld the decision. Now, I just thought about something else that I do know. I'm told, I didn't see it, I heard somewhere that on this state Supreme Court, there is a black female judge in high quotations. Because remember, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. By the way, I'm the first person that ever said that, and I hear it all over now. I never heard nobody saying that before I said it. So I need to start trademarking some of the shit I say. I need to do that. Anyways, and maybe we'll find that out. But I did hear that someplace. So this bitch could have stopped it, and she didn't. If in fact that's the truth. But anyways, they upheld the decision. Governor Parsons, another Republican piece of crap, turned down Khalifa's request for clemency, of course. Quote, "We hope this gives finality to a case that has languished for decades because the fucking perpetrator is not guilty." Whatever. Anyways, re-victimizing Miss Gale's family over and over again, said the pablum puking vomitous governor in a statement after the execution. No juror nor judge has ever found Khalifa innocent claim to be credible. It's not about the jury or the fucking judge. It's about the evidence, bitch. And you didn't have it. So what white judges and white jurors say, think, or do means nothing to us at all. Do you understand? He was convicted primarily on the word of 2 witnesses who testified against him. So that must be the 2 dead fuckers, the lying whore ex-girlfriend and the convict. The sentence was finalized and officials moved forward with the execution. But there's another layer here, everybody. That's why I told you I hate, with everything I got in me, I hate the statement, just doing their job. You see? Because I don't give a fuck how powerful somebody's supposed to be. They're sitting somewhere in a tailored suit in an air-conditioned office. It's somebody else that's carrying out their shit. They never get their hands dirty. There's no different in them and a fucking mob boss. Do you understand? The attack that's happening on the people of Gaza. If those soldiers said, nope, you want to attack Palestine, you fucking piece of shit, Satan Yahoo, you go do it yourself. Get your gun and go drive a tank or do something. We don't know what to tell you, but we're not doing it. There'd be no aggression, no war, no attack. You see? Not the best example because we know that all those Zionist pieces of shit that are in uniform, they are happy to do this, whether they were in the military or not. This is proven by the general civilian population that's there and also the settlers. They all agree. They all agree with the genocide of these Palestinian people. So it's not the best example. But if they were decent, then but you take my point. I just mentioned that because they said officials moved forward with the execution. No, somebody had to go in there and actually inject him, and they should have said, "Fuck you, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You want this dude injected? You come do it yourself. Do it. We're out. Kick rocks." You see? What were Williams' last words? Officials said that Khalifa's last meal included chicken wings and tater tots. He had his final visit with Imam Jalahi Qasim, whom Khalifa used to follow from approximately 1600 to 1730. At about 2250, witnesses, including Khalifa's son and 2 of his lawyers, were escorted to the prison's viewing area. Karen Pajman, spokesperson for the Missouri Department of Corrections, said, period. Okay. No one was present on behalf of the victim's family because they probably knew it was some bullshit and they couldn't bear to come and see. They're happy to convict a black man that's not guilty because remember, that's also been their way. It used to be any crime that's committed, you're just going to get any black person, and that's the guilty party. Done. Case closed. You see? This is shit white people have done. So don't look at me like I'm fucking crazy or I got a damn problem. You go see their ass. So I offer in speculation that that's why they didn't have the bitch asses there. They just couldn't do it. You caused this man to be on death row to some degree, and now you suddenly, you know, that's why they're okay with the life in prison. Because they want revenge. But the death penalty was a little too much for them because, like, even our evil asses can't do it. And so they didn't show up. Wow. At 2300, Attorney General Andrew Bailey informed the Department of Corrections that there were no legal barriers to the execution. The lethal injection was administered at 2301. According to a report by the Associated Press, Khalifa wiggled his feet beneath a white sheet that was pulled up to his neck and shifted his head slightly. After that, his chest rose and fell about 6 times, and he showed no further movement. Khalifa was pronounced dead at 2310. according to Podgman. Just a second. So it took him 9 minutes to die? Is death by lethal injection supposed to be instant? Is death by lethal injection supposed to be instant? Rich can't talk now. It says no. Death by lethal injection is not supposed to be instant. Ideal time. When the procedure goes as planned, the inmate should die within 10 minutes of the first drug entering their system. Okay. Actual time is the next heading. It says, however, lethal injection can take a wide range of times, from 5 minutes to over 3 hours. What the fuck? Factors that affect the time, the chemicals used, the inmate's physiology, and other complications can all affect the length of the injection. Botched executions, drug shortages, and bans can lead to the use of substitute chemicals, which can result in longer executions. For example, in 2014, Clayton Lockett's lethal injection in Oklahoma took 43 minutes after he regained consciousness. Wow. Then they have a header here called pain. It says, even when the procedure is done correctly, lethal injections can be painful. NPR reports that lethal injections can cause a sensation similar to drowning, with panic and terror. Wow, the longest known lethal injection in U.S. history was in 2022 when Joe Nathan James' execution took over 3 fucking hours. I'm over it. All right, well, at least that satisfies my questioning here. You know, that he was pronounced dead at 23:10, but they said that it was administered at 23:01. So I immediately questioned that. Okay, fine. See, with all the signs and bullhorns you want on Earth, they're never going to feel that upside their head physically. This don't do shit. Do you understand? No money will be missing out of their wallet, and no bruises upside their damn head. This is a waste of fucking time. What's the current situation of the death penalty in the United States? We don't need to read that. Now, I told you early on when we saw that blue header, the highlighting in blue, I was like, I'm just going to right click on this and we'll go to that after just in case. It was this. We'll go to that now. Marcellus Williams executed in Missouri despite conviction doubts. The 55-year-old was convicted in 2003 over the killing of this person in what appeared to be a burglary gone wrong. Again, the 43 times, I'm having a problem with that. Marcellus was convicted of murder 21 years ago and has been executed in the Midwestern state of Missouri despite concerns raised over the integrity of the case. The United States Supreme Court, the last body that could have overturned his death sentence, declined to intervene in the case on Tuesday. You mean to tell me, since Joe Biden owes the black community such a debt of gratitude and he's going to have our back, end quote, and Kamala Harris cares so much about human rights as she stood next to the Ghanaian president, she marched in talking about human rights have always been a major part of my work, and I've always been, and that includes gay and transgender rights, and I will not be changing on that. She said she had no word salad. The bitch said that with a straight face and straight unambiguous language and shit. You see? She had no problem dissing black people. I almost said her own people. Oh my God. Rebuke me for that. Ugh, I can't. Where's my punch? Anyways, this bitch could have made a call to the Supreme Court and said, look, you know. And what about Ketanji? Oh, that's right. She has a white husband and she hasn't been black since God knows when. So my bad. I'm sorry. Again, I'm sorry. Anyways, Khalifa, who was convicted, did I read that? Yeah, 21 years ago. Okay, they could have stopped it, but they didn't want to hear it. They're like, we're not going to hear the case. We don't have time. The 55-year-old was executed by lethal injection shortly after 6 p.m. at a prison in Bonterry, according to the Innocence Project, whose lawyer worked with Williams. His death came a day after both Missouri governor and the state's highest court all rejected his last-ditch appeal to avoid execution. Khalifa was found guilty in 1998 in the 1998 killing of Leisha Gale. I thought her name was something else. I'm not going back. Anyways, a 42-year-old former newspaper reporter who was stabbed 43 times during what appeared to be a burglary gone wrong. I don't care. If you're in the middle of a burglary, you don't stab somebody 43 damn times. Any criminalist will tell you that many times and with a knife, that's personal. That's personal. That means I cannot stand you, bitch. Die, bitch. That's what 43 times is, everybody. That's not a burglary gone wrong. He maintained his innocence. Wesley Bell, whose office handled the original prosecution, has sought to block the execution due to concerns about the original trial. Quote, even for those who disagree on the death penalty, when there is a shadow of a doubt of any defendant's guilt, the irreversible punishment of execution should not be an option. And I'm that way, everybody. It don't have to be a death penalty. Like, I never answer jury summons, and shame on me for that, you know, because it's an opportunity for me to upset. And so for the remainder of the time that I'm here in this damn fucked up country, if I get any jury summons, I'm going to go. I'm going to do it. But I mentioned it to say that I've already had this discussion with myself many times. Like, I have to know for sure. You got to present shit to me that leaves no wiggle in my mind of whatever I'm faced with that this person is guilty. Otherwise, I will never convict. You will never get a conviction out of me. It will not happen. I'm not going to infer nothing. You need to do your work and prove it to me. Show me. Show me. Make me believe it. Make me. Otherwise, you'll never get a damn conviction out of me. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. In court papers, Bell questioned the reliability of the two main trial witnesses, concluded that prosecutors improperly excluded black jurors on the basis of race and their white evil hate, and noted that new testing found no trace of Khalifa's DNA on the damn murder weapon. Khalifa was African. Subsequent tests also revealed there was DNA on the knife from the goddamn prosecutors and an investigator who worked on the case and handled the weapon without gloves. The contamination of the knife led prosecutors and Khalifa's lawyers to an agreement in August to commute the sentence to life in prison. Well, that wasn't enough. But we could at least allow it, because at least you commute it to life in prison. Then you have a chance to just work on it and see if there's, But I stand by the original thing. That should have been the end of it. We don't have any evidence, so don't commute. Just let him go. Because how am I gonna be set up in jail on some shit you have no evidence of? That's not going to happen. Nah. The victim's family also backed the deal. But Missouri Attorney General and racist fuck Andrew Bailey objected, and the state supreme. I thought they cared so much about victims, everybody. So when the victims speak, you just steamroll over the fuck what they want. That means nothing. So objected, and then the state Supreme Court blocked it at his request. A state judge upheld Khalifa's murder conviction earlier this month, finding that the lack of evidence on the knife was not enough to establish his innocence. Did you just fucking hear the sorceress? I'll just read it again. Finding that the lack of any evidence to show he ever touched this knife is not enough to say he's innocent. Huh? Please come pick you up. Said you just robbed Walmart at 6 o'clock this evening. Damn it. Then they go and run the entire tape of that day from every angle. All the parking lot, all the entrance, the entire store, every aisle. You're nowhere in Walmart. And this judge is saying, well, the fact that he's not anywhere in Walmart doesn't mean he's innocent. So that's what we just read, everybody. I'll just read it again. This judge said that finding that the lack of evidence on the knife, was not enough to establish his innocence. This fucking lady was stabbed 43 goddamn times. It's gonna be some DNA on that bitch. The fact that nothing was found, well, it doesn't mean he's innocent. And every stabbing case I've ever seen where there's this many stabbings going on, at some point the stabber gets cut because the knife becomes so slippery with blood. So you would have, maybe they didn't get cut in this case, but I promise you, almost every knife stabbing case I've ever looked at, that's the case. Unless they stab them 1 or 2 times. You just juked somebody, whatever. But 43 times? Come on, man. The Missouri Supreme Court affirmed this white devil decision on Monday. Governor Parsons, a Republican piece of crap, also turned down Khalifa's request for clemency. So they're all in cahoots. I always tell you, white allegiance, white collusion. That's what it is. They all agree. Quote, no jury nor court, including at the trial, appellate and Supreme Court levels, have ever found merit in Khalifa's innocence claims, he said in a statement. Okay, then fuck what he says. Then just go with the evidence. Oh, no evidence. So now do you believe? So if you don't want to believe him, in other words, what they're saying is anything this nigger says about his innocence, we don't believe it. We don't believe it. That's what they're saying. That's the translation, everybody. At the end of the day, his guilty verdict and sentence of capital punishment were upheld. Khalifa was among death row inmates in 5 states who were scheduled to be executed in the span of a week, and an unusually high number amid a year-long decline in the use and support of the death penalty in the United States. The first was carried out on Friday in South Carolina. Texas was also slated to execute a prisoner on Tuesday evening. Travis Mullis, 38, was convicted of stamping his 3-month-old son, Elijah, to death in 2008. I hope they meant stabbing, but you see it clearly says stamp. The death penalty has been abolished in 23 states, while 6 others, Arizona, California, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee, have moratoriums in place. They don't want to get rid of it just yet. You feel me? So they just pull it out when they want to. Yeah, I'm over it, man. This is some bullshit. You know? We have to have a way of forcing our will over everybody, and know that bullhorns and signs and marching and chanting are not going to get you any result. That has not worked. If you want something you never had, you got to do shit you never did. I don't care what the circumstance or what the goal is on anything. That's what's real. That's what's real. I don't know what else I need to know about this case, quite frankly. You know, yeah, I can't think of, uh-oh. I can't think of anything else that I would need to know. What I can tell you is that what I will do, instead of making this video even a second longer than it needs to be, is that if there is some other inspiration or inclination that I get, or curiosity, then certainly I will bring that up in our next live, everybody. I wanted to get this in because I've been trying to get a live done. I thought I was going to get one done over the weekend. It just didn't happen. Like I said, I've been so immersed with what's going on with this sister and trying to do everything that I can from as far away as I am, yeah, she's in North Carolina, and here I am all the way in California, so there's many things that I'm limited on. But so I try and do what I can, when I can. So I didn't get a chance to do anything over the weekend. Like I said, I thought I would try and get a live in, and even that karaoke video that I released was just spur of the moment. I was actually doing something else. I think I might have even been on the phone, and I just was able to release that while I was on the phone. I had made the speaking intro already, like some time back, and I just added that because I just wanted the viewer to have context of what they were seeing, and all of that. And that's the last thing that I released, was that of me singing George Michael's Father Figure at karaoke. And yeah, so in fact, Tuesday hit and I didn't realize it was Tuesday. I'm like, it's Tuesday already? Wallahi, all of Tuesday I thought it was Monday. I literally thought Tuesday was Monday. That just tells you how off I am. And so, and now it's I'm afraid to say what day it is because, well, let me look. Okay, it's actually Wednesday. So that was Wednesday. So you guys, I'm gonna try and have a live session with you. I'm gonna try for tomorrow, y'all. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. Oh, let me also say while I'm thinking, shout out to all the new subscribers, everybody. Just shout out to all the new subscribers. Know that I am aware of your subscription. I see when I get my weekly rundown. It tells me, all of everything, and amongst it, it tells you of any new subscribers that you have. I also want to say thank you to those of you who actually share my videos. That matters. Um, and so I see the number because it tells me how many shares, and so I was like, wow, I'm really proud of you guys. Thank you so much. You know, you know who you are, and thank you so much for that, you guys, because I'm trying to um, grow our channel. I'm trying to grow our Jedi Africa channel. And so I appreciate those of you who take the time to share the work. Thank you, thank you, thank you a million times. Thank you all for that. I know that I normally just bitch and scold about the stuff that's bad, and a lot of times don't remember to compliment the good. So I apologize for that. I'm trying to do better. So thank you for all of those of you who do share the workout. Thank you to, again, I say another thank you to the new subscribers. If you're somebody who's listening to me for the first time, the best thing you can do, especially I'm a man that preaches black unity. If you are about that, then you put your actions where your mouth is. And so I'm a black man, and so I ask for your subscription if you want to be a part of our family. I don't want nobody here that don't want to be here. And I'm one, I've said this to you many times. I'm one of these people, because I am a content producer, I'm less likely to be able to watch a lot of people's work, but I still subscribe. You understand? I subscribe just to give them that number, even though I know I'm probably not going to watch this person again. I'm probably not going to remember, blah, 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 whatever it is. But I still subscribe to my people, man. I do it. I do it. And make sure I give them a thumbs up. I do it. I do it. It's just a natural part of me. And I'd like for that to be a part of our people in general. Our numbers are enough for us to be successful at anything we want to conjure. Anything. Remember, I'm the guy that when I had 23,000 subscribers, and I still do it now, but I'm the guy that when I had 23,000 subscribers, and long before I even had 23,000 subscribers, I'm the guy that I see somebody new. I know what it was like to have 2 subscribers. And those of you that have been with me, I'm that guy that would come before my audience and say, look, y'all need to go and subscribe to this person. If you're not going to watch their work, just go and subscribe. Excuse me, just go and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It's nothing. Support them. Subscribe. Give them a thumbs up. So they can catch the algorithm. I'm a shadow ban channel now. That's only because of you now. The white devil has done what they're going to do. But that's why it's so important. Those people that actually take time to share my work, oh my God. May the glory and blessings of Allah be upon all of you. You understand? That's how you get around it. If your people say, we don't care if our brother is shadow banned, we're going to support him. Let me hit that subscribe. Let me hit that thumbs up. Boom. What? We say what's going to happen to our brother, not you. We all need to adopt that frame of mind, everybody. We all need to do it. We all need to do it. And lastly, as I said, the link for the GoFundMe and the Cash App is under every video that I produce. And I have told you that our sister is out here with her 7-year-old child, homeless, everybody. As I said to you, I'm one, but I'm only one. Think about your own self, because you could be homeless one day. It's very possible. Very possible. And think about what it'd be like for you if nobody stepped up to help you. Shouldn't be that difficult for you to put yourself in her shoes. Not at all. So, as I say, I will try to be live with you guys tomorrow, inshallah. Um, yeah, and I'm eager for that too because I love those because you guys have information, and you educate me on a lot of things or make me aware of stuff, that I otherwise wouldn't have known. So that's very important to me as well. You know, just as an example, our last live stream. In fact, I remember. Was it the last live stream? Anyways, I was covering the death of Tito Jackson and Frankie Beverly, and it was Cheryl. Shout out to you, Cheryl, who was like, Jedi, did you know that James Earl Jones had died? I didn't know that. When would I have known that? When would I have known that? I don't know. I don't know. But boom, Cheryl will let me know. But that's just one example. I could give you many, 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 where you guys bring information to me and make me aware of things. So it's a give and take, everybody. I always tell you, I'm the channel host. That's it. This is our channel, period. I'm just the host. I'm just the damn host. So may Allah's blessing be upon all of you. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.